Happy Thursday. And we're tearing out this desk and opening up this whole room for more open adjusting. So make care as efficient as possible. You know, there are some people that they want to go to the doctor and they want to sit in the waiting room for an hour and then talk to the nurse practitioner or, you know, MA or whatever it is, and or PA, and then, you know, maybe talk to the doctor, and then at the end you get some nonsense answer that doesn't actually help you be healthy. It just covers up whatever symptoms you have, and or also gives you some kind of diagnosis. This it's just an itis, you know. And some people like that. Our people don't like that. Our people want to be healthy, and they got stuff to do. So our members, they come in, they get rocked, they get their nervous system reset, get the vagus nerve turned on, and get the prefrontal cortex engaged, and then they go live their life, not live life dependent on doctor's visits. They simply get rocked, and then learn how to be chiropractors themselves, so then they can take care of their family, so they don't even have to come in anymore. So that's the goal. Full forward. And so how do we bring this conversation that we've had this whole month about Sexual Assault Awareness Month, right? I had a friend who I found out was assaulting his wife, and then it was like not a big surprise that his younger sister was also, when she was a child, was dating an adult, and that adult male raped her in their home. Their family found out about it, and nothing then happened. It was kind of like pushed under the rug. And so again, same thing. Family finds out that this young man is, my friend, is hurting his wife, and again, pushed under the rug. And the question is, why do people do that? Like, why do they do it? Why do they just like pretend like something didn't happen rather than correcting it? And I realized, in essence, at the root of it, is that healing feels bad. Being healthy feels good. I mean, having lots of energy, having strong body, being able to play hard, like that feels good. Being healthy feels good. But healing, I don't know, healing feels negative. It feels really awful. And I will challenge you on this. Like when you work out, you damage your body. That's all exercise is damaging very specific parts of our body. And then when you go to sleep, your body heals. And then if you haven't worked out for a bit, like, how does it feel that next day waking up? It feels bad. That's because healing feels bad. And so as we've dissected this whole month about the reason why men hurt women, and it's at a astounding rate, from lack of orgasms, like 15% of women not ever having an orgasm in their life, 50% of them dissatisfied sexually, and the amount of women that now just sell their sexuality in order to make money because they perceive that they can't make money any other way. Like, all signs of women that are being hurt. And whether they tell the person they like it or not, that's the fun thing too, is like really this vicious cycle is like the person being hurt, like as a coping mechanism, would be like, oh, that was good. And again, it's like a little Stockholm syndrome. And I have to laugh about it because my go-to emotion is rage and to hurt people that hurt other people, which I realize isn't really like the solution. And so what is the solution? What is the solution? If the go-to mechanism is to hide and to cover things up and to ignore them and to avoid because healing feels bad, then so what do we do? What do we do to balance this equation so that our kids don't have this world where women are what they are and used as objects? A world where women have the greatest strength because they have the better ability to be caring and empathetic and kind, and then as they're strong, that's then magnified throughout every member of the household and the families. Like, how do we fix it? How do we correct it? How do we adjust it? I think the first thing is to bring awareness to the fact that it's simple neuroanatomy, right? Someone that will either at a direct level of physical violence towards a woman, or someone that simply consumes content at an addiction level status, is someone that is neurologically imbalanced. I think it's just step one. It's just the truth of it. And then start to balance out that neuroanatomy. And we've talked over the last month of how to accomplish that, and in different strategies and techniques and tips. And then that leads to people then not doing it because of step number 2, which is accepting the fact that healing feels bad. And so, but what's the mindset now? What do we have now? We have this mindset, especially with parents, right? Well, let's just see how it feels, right? And see how it feels. And maybe that could be the same mindset, but then changing the mindset, instead of like, let's see how it feels. Oh, does that feel good? To really, like, what the truth is like, healing feels bad. You get the vagus nerve turned on. That is the main relaxation kind of wire in our body. And it starts to flush toxins out of our system, starts to improve circulation. People get like diarrhea, they get, I call those GI the upset. And we see this in the Dominican Republic because people come out to the DR and it is like clockwork. They're fully surrounded by nature. And then they get adjusted multiple times a day. So it's turning on that prefrontal cortex, stimulating that vagus nerve. And then it's like, I think I have the flu. That's what they say, because that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like when an inhibited vagus nerve starts to turn on. We want to jump forward, right? We want to jump forward to, oh, now I can relax my body. Oh, I can now recover faster. Now I can feel ease in the evenings. We want to jump forward. We want that byproduct, but you got to go through it. And so in essence, we got to go back to the basics. We've got to go back to the basics, that in order to move forward, you got to go back to the basics. That our system is meant to be in nature. Our system is meant to move. Our system is meant to be able to connect with other human beings in person. Our system is meant to create, produce, and that all is healthy for us. And so the basic activities of move, connect, create is how our body becomes energized and electrifies our nervous system. And in regards to, I don't even think we need to be like, let's identify these things that need to go away as far as like the Sexual Assault Awareness Month, because ultimately it's not something that healthy, well-adjusted men do. And so if you're like, well, I'm a healthy, well-adjusted man and I feel good hurting women, I hate to break it to you, but you're not. Because healthy, well-adjusted people, neurologically balanced people with symmetry between the sympathetic nervous system and the parasympathetic nervous system, they naturally become protectors of other people, protectors of those weaker than them. And so, what do? Well, I wrote 2 books. The Fog to Fire, which has every vagus nerve hack that you could think of that could be implemented. Number 2, Get Paid and Get Laid, which again breaks down the simplicity of a mindset re-education, because we have to come to a truth that, like, we've been trained by medicine to follow feelings, because that's what they sell. They sell drugs to allow us to feel a certain way. And we've been trained. Like, that's where the whole idea of, let's see it, how it feels, see how it goes. That is medicine trained us. So I wrote the Get Paid and Get Laid book to start to retrain the brain out of that model that has been set in place. And I was watching a video the other day about the initiation of the public education system, and it was John, I forget which Rockefeller it was, but one of the oil tycoons started this and funded it, and he wanted to train his workers to do what they're told. And then he started medical schools all at the same time, so that people were trained up to be workers. They do what they're told, and then they get sicker as they're working in these unhealthy environments, and then they give their money to medicine to keep them functioning. And so these 2 books are meant to empower people with the tools to then move forward by going back to the basics. And then the other thing is simply, come in to the Mission Center here. And even if you don't want to do a long time commitment, like, come in, get adjusted, and then learn how to adjust. It's like, I thought it would take a year to train people how to be chiropractors. It's like 2 weeks. It's so simple. I don't train doctors because, again, back in the day, in the original development of chiropractic college, chiropractic was a 2-week program. And then at some point, a judge recommended the chiropractic profession that chiropractors should become more like medical doctors, and then we would be respected by them. I don't know if you know this, but medical doctors make their money off of selling medicine, and healthy people don't take medicine. So by default, any profession that gets people off of medicine, which chiropractic has been shown to do by 85% on average for adults, like we will never be friends with medicine, because if we were, they would be chiropractors, because healthy people don't need drugs. Healthy people, our brain has infinite capacity to heal if it has direct communication. If you don't have healing issues because you have a disruption within communication between your brain and your body. That's it. It's that simple. And it's been proven countless studies. And so even though this data exists of this healing method of optimizing the neurological balance, like chiropractors decided that they wanted to be like medical doctors. They wanted to be respected. And in essence, they became pretend medical doctors that treat people's different symptoms like real doctors do. And so what I do is I'm like, okay, well, if the basics are simply resetting the nervous system, let's train people how to do that. So and does this mean that you have to, you're someone that's being abused right now or not happy? Does this mean that you have to bring that up or talk about it? No, don't. If you don't want to talk about something, don't talk about it. And just know that as you get adjusted and as you adjust your significant others and your family, they will feel worse first, because healing doesn't feel good. And as we referenced in one of the earlier scans, I'll do the Walking Dead talk again, so that can be available for people so they can understand the healing process. But the vagus nerve is pretty predictable. And when someone's at a point where they are hurting other people or feeling pleasure or being powerful for doing that, basically they're in like this disassociation within the vagus nerve curve. So the first thing that happens when they start to heal, when you start to turn that vagus nerve on, is that they feel shame. And then that's enough oftentimes to push people back away from healing, because they don't want to feel shame. But really, shame then is just a stage of it. And then going down that vagus nerve, polyvagal theory, if you want to look into it more, it turns into then from numb to now feeling. And again, things that are healing don't feel good. They go through the shame, then ultimately get grounded, and then it turns into irritation, frustration, anger, and that's the energy systems getting back online. And then once they kind of balance out, then it's like this, right in this line of high energy to peace and relaxation. And that's really where symmetry is maintained. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, I don't know if it's possible here, but that's the goal. And so kind of everyone in our little center here is kind of part of our research, because yeah, Jamie, you know, yeah. Yeah, and then, Elizabeth, what are we going to talk about tomorrow? That's the real question. Get a good spicy topic, good controversial topic. But, because really we have one more week of Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and I'm running out of angles to talk about this. So if anyone has any ideas or any specific things that I could address neurologically, and again, the shame response is part of the healing response. And really you know it. Really what part of the goal of a lot of this continuing education is, instead of people having the shame response, then moving back out of it, give people like power, so they can move through it rather than reverting back to what feels good. And then instead understand the healing process in order to move through and ultimately get back to the basics, which is balanced neurology, balanced fight or flight, parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, Elizabeth, you're going to think on this evening, and then tomorrow. What time are we doing it tomorrow? At 10:30? Tomorrow, Elizabeth and I are going to dive deep on a spicy topic. See you tomorrow.